At some point, every independent band calls a meeting to decide whether it's worth loading all your gear, a couple of sleeping bags, an ice chest full of energy drinks into a 20-year-old band van to go on tour. Today, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why it's not all it's cracked up to be and might not be right for you. Don't be discouraged, though. Tomorrow, I'll go over 5 reasons you should consider it. Ultimately, it's your decision. All I can do is share my experiences to inform your choices. There are no rankings here because everybody has such incredibly different priorities. All right, let's go. Click it or take it, baby. Number 1, it's expensive. The tour I was on last summer, we had all of our lodging and most of our meals comped. We also raised over $1,000 in crowdfunding. But between keeping the cooler and the gas tank full, meals on off days, and other incidental expenses, not to mention buying the merch that we wanted to sell before we went out, we still spent thousands out of our pockets. And don't forget the band van. It's a heap. You know you've been deferring maintenance on that old gal, and it will catch up to you. Usually when you're smack dab in the middle of BFE at 3 o'clock in the morning with 600 miles to go to your next show, load-in is in 12 hours, and there's no cell service. It's just like the movies. There's never any cell service. Number 2, you need to be dominating your home market. Listen, going on tour is sort of this romantic notion. All the rock stars do it. You read stories about these old bands in the 1960s who all hopped into a couple station wagons without ever playing a show in their hometown, and they made it just by being road dogs. Well, that's all fine, but the paradigm has shifted so much since then. If you're not able to bring a couple hundred people out to a show in your own hometown, what do you really expect to gain by trying to do the same thing in another town where nobody even knows who you are, where maybe you don't have any friends or any infrastructure built up at all?
Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and watch more of Daddy's videos.
That brings me to number 3, your family. I've got 2 little kids, 5 and 8 years old. My longest stretch on the road this year was about 27 days. For 27 days, I was a FaceTime dad. You gotta talk it over with your partner. I'm very blessed to have such an amazing lady for mine who supports me in everything that I do. But if you travel a lot, it could very easily become an enormous stress on your family. I remember one of the hardest things I did, the second leg of a tour that I left for, my daughter was sitting on her bedroom floor telling me that I needed to find a new job because I could not leave her. Number 4, being on tour can be pretty unhealthy. Maybe you're getting out of clubs at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and the only place that's open is fast food tacos. You can only eat so many fast food tacos. You're probably chugging energy drinks like they're water. You're not getting enough sleep. There's just a lot of unhealthy habits that can be developed when you're on tour. Let's not even talk about alcohol. If you're playing in a lot of pubs and bars and taverns, chances are one of the ways you're going to get paid is with the bar tab. And doing that kind of thing every night is certainly not good for you. And doing that kind of thing when you need to get behind the wheel and drive a few hundred miles is just plain stupid. Don't be that guy. Number 5, it's grueling. When we were out for a month, there was one night that I got to sleep on what was almost a bed. It was like a bunk room. You had like a little thin mattress pad that was on like a wooden bunk. Every other night on that leg of the tour, we were sleeping on gym floors, in church pews. Sometimes you just bed down with a sleeping bag because you were too tired to pump up the air mattress. Sometimes you would have the luxury of having an air mattress. Not to mention all the driving. You know, we pretty much in a row. Hit Gallup, New Mexico, Espanola, New Mexico, Colorado Springs, Colorado, Grand Junction, Colorado, Cedar City, Utah, Bullhead City, Arizona, Searchlight, Nevada, Imperial Beach, California, Boron, California, before we really ever stopped. Add on top of that the idea of how tiresome it can be to be in a van with the same 4 or 5 or 6 people for weeks at a time. What if there are personality conflicts that creep up? How are you going to handle that? How do you handle somebody who smokes? Are you going to allow them to have breaks every 45 minutes to get their nicotine fix? Are you going to allow them to smoke in the van? This all needs to be decided ahead of time. And different practices. One thing that I've always done is every time I've been on tour, I say everybody who comes needs to have a quality pair of headphones. And if you have those headphones on, that is your signal to everybody else that you want a little space of your own. You need a little bit of time. You're just chilling out and getting out of the main conversation. Thankfully, I'm back home with my family now, and I plan to enjoy this time because it's always too short. It won't be long before I'm back out again, doing it all over. What's the old adage? You know it's a musician when he puts $5,000 worth of gear into a $500 car to drive 100 miles for a $50 gig. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. And I'll be seeing you tomorrow with a more encouraging video. Thanks for watching.